Samsung Galaxy S23 line has been amazing and the S23 Plus is no exception. But I've also been thoroughly impressed with the OnePlus 11. Even though this phone is not the highest end out there, it has a good price point and really good specifications for what you're paying. Around $699. What a great deal there on the right. But the Samsung S23 Plus is an amazing phone as well. Let's go ahead and begin with a boot up test here in 3, 2, go. And let's keep in mind here, both of these phones do rock the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 2. Now that CPU is a really fast chipset. It's one of the best out there, but the one on the left is designed specifically for Galaxy. I don't think that's going to make a major difference here in this episode, but do keep in mind that the OnePlus 11 does turn on first over the S23 Plus, but it does have 12 gigabytes of RAM on this variant. And we do have 8 gigabytes of RAM here on the left. So the OnePlus definitely has a little bit more RAM and did win the boot up test. Now both of these phones do have pretty much the same ways to unlock. You do have an in-display fingerprint sensor there on the left, and you have one there on the right. Now the OnePlus version is a optical, and then the Samsung version is ultrasonic. So I do believe the Samsung version is a little more secure, but it's not going to make a big difference. You're still going to need a finger to get into these phones, so both of them pretty good there. Now, when unlocking, the OnePlus's animation is actually faster, so it can get into that phone quicker than the Samsung. And then they both do have face unlock, and you know they're pretty quick. They can both bypass the lock screen to get in. But generally speaking, you know, I would say the OnePlus still feels like a faster phone to unlock and get into that device easily. So definitely I would pick that one if you just want to be like blazing fast startup, blazing fast unlock, animations. This is looking like maybe a faster looking device out the gate. I also want to correct myself. I did say 12 gigs of RAM earlier. That was one of the older OnePluses I had. This one actually has 16 gigabytes of RAM on board. This one has 8. So definitely much more RAM. We'll see how that affects them when it comes to our RAM management test. But if you take a look over here and we go down to this area memory, you'll see there's an available 8 gigabytes. So Samsung definitely not, they're doubling you here with the OnePlus device. Now, generally speaking, going through the operating systems, I gotta tell you that I'm very impressed with what Samsung has done with the S23, the entire series. They finally have nailed it, coming a super long way from the TouchWiz days and even some of the laggier One UI versions that we've seen in the past. With the 120 Hertz, the new Qualcomm chipset, these phones do not get hot, they do not stutter, they do not lag, they're smooth all the time. They are impressive phones here with the S23 line. Now, it's no different for the OnePlus. We've been seeing great performance for OnePlus for a very long time. And this one is even better with 16 gigs of RAM and having that Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen Plus. I love the performance to price ratio on the OnePlus 11. It's pretty insane. All right, so everything is closed out for both phones here on both the Samsung and the OnePlus 11. Let's go ahead and begin with calendar. And you can see that was faster on the Samsung. We'll go into calculator, about the same, clock. Now this is Oxygen OS 11, and then on the left we have One UI 5. Some people get annoyed because they want to call it Color OS. I'm calling it what it says in the settings. Let's go into Instagram, and you can see faster for the OnePlus. Pretty much the same in here. Now, the OnePlus has its own unique feel because it has this like punch hole camera to the left. This one has in the middle. It's more of a curved display, fits different in the hand. So they definitely have their own kind of feel to their phone, even though some would argue all Android phones look the same. I don't agree. They just have little nuances that are a little bit different. Samsung wins that one on the left. Twitter. Faster on the Samsung. So it's looking like the Galaxy so far's version of the Qualcomm, maybe a little bit better optimized here. Let's go into Groupon. Again, these aren't going to be major differences, but these little microseconds might add up to the Samsung feeling like an overall faster phone day to day. Let's get into Amazon shopping. Down below in the comments, let me know, OnePlus or Samsung? Which one are you going with? Which phone would you pick? Go Go ahead and comment that down below. And Best Buy, we have a crash. Oh my goodness. A crash on the OnePlus. I don't know what was up with that. I kind of love it though when phones crash in a video, because it shows that a lot of people have been saying these speed tests, we don't see no different. You don't really see nothing different, but when you just seen something right there, you've seen a crash live on camera. Let's go to 2-in-1s. See first on the right. And I'm not trying to say that that's going to be the end all be all for the OnePlus, but I think their optimization could get a little better based on what I'm seeing here in this speed test. And you'll see that Samsung has really come a long way. I got to say, man. And I'm not trying to hype them up like they're the best thing ever. It's the best option in the world. But I'm just saying that, the Samsung experience was the phone that was always in the past kind of giving me a little bit of chop here and there, giving me a little bit of a stutter here and there. And now it's like, it's one of the best like out there, for Android for sure. And I always thought Samsung was one of the best out there when it comes to offering you features, offering you a great competitor to Apple. But the truth is that they were kind of always making me feel like, can we get a little bit better performance? And now I can't really say that about them. They've nailed it. They've straight up nailed this section of the video, and it's just unbelievable. It's kind of unbelievable it took this long, but at the same time, now you're getting the features, the multitasking, the split screen, the insane versatility of the cameras, and you're getting all that with not having to pay the price of a little bit of a laggier system. Not happening these days. Tempo Run here, you're going to see that Tempo Run definitely is loading up first on the Galaxy once again. So let's go over here to Subway Surfers. We're going to be in New York in this test here. And the Samsung, once again, even with the gaming engine turned on, faster. And let's go into Geekbench 6, faster on the left. And you can see on that third cluster that the Samsung is actually clocked at a higher clock speed. Not sure if that plays into it. Let's go into 3D Mark. But you'll see right there, overall, we got some pretty good performance on both. So what I could say is that, after looking at this speed test, this app test, the OnePlus is slightly slower than the Galaxy S23 Plus with microseconds faster, but it adds up to the Samsung S23 Plus feeling like an overall faster phone. Keep in mind though, the S23 Plus is only a hair quicker in this test, but it does have a much larger price tag. It's like about $999. This one's about $699. So I'm not going to say OnePlus is not worth it. It's still really worth it because you're getting a bigger screen. You're getting triple cameras, similar thing to this. You're getting OLED display, a super sharp display, a long battery life. So, I mean, they're still neck and neck. It's just the Samsung felt a little bit faster here. But how does that translate over into the RAM management? Let's take a look at this here. We'll go into Geekbench 6, Subway Surfers. Man, I got to tell you, Samsung has come a long way, except for that. Did you see that right there? It's funny. Every time I start, bragging about something, it shows me up live on camera. And let's go into Best Buy. I can't believe that just happened. That's so funny. Like, literally, I was just about to praise the Samsung. Groupon looks like a reload. And then it does all that wonky stuff right there. So Samsung, while they've nailed the performance and speed, now what they can work on is nailing perfection on the animations, because while this has come a long way as well, it still is not butter on every aspect. They can still work on them animations. Now, what about the OnePlus here? Let's go over here. Now, the OnePlus feels a little bit more tall and narrow in the hand. And I kind of like the feel of it, though. It's got a very ergonomic feel in the hand. Asphalt, see, the OnePlus is doing better here with holding these applications. It looks a little smoother. So I do think OnePlus's animations are a little better. I don't think neither of these phones have better animations than the MIUI, though, on the Xiaomi 13 Pro, 13 Ultra. And neither, I still don't think, can touch iOS 100% on beating those animations. But OnePlus, I would say, better on the RAM management for sure, and definitely a little bit smoother with its polish. When they were going through, the animations just look better in my opinion. So we got the camera down here, and then we have the camera down here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the camera launch speed on both. 3, 2, go. And that was faster on the OnePlus. I'm going to go ahead and close those out. Do that test one more time. 3, 2, go. Faster on the OnePlus. Now, in terms of shutter speed, hold on, 1, 2. About the same. And they're both going to have a similar, features. You got 2x, 3x, ultra wides here, portrait modes, lots of camera modes on both of them. So Samsung with a little more camera modes, but you got the Hasselblad partnership on the OnePlus, and you have just really good cameras with really long zoom on the Samsung. So definitely both very good here, both solid Android phones. But I would say the camera speed definitely faster on the OnePlus. Now, keep in mind, too, that you can take the Samsung S23 Plus and you can go like this to get in the camera. You can also take a photo with that volume rocker. And then here on the OnePlus, you can do the same thing. Double click the home button. Hold up. Right there. So it goes in very simply as well. So overall, I would say OnePlus faster on the camera department. Definitely a little bit quicker to launch that camera and take that shot. So I mentioned earlier that we have a faster third cluster over here, clocked in at 3.19 gigahertz. Over here, we're clocked in at 3.36 gigahertz on one of those cores. And let's go ahead and hit the run CPU benchmark. So we're testing our CPU performance here. I'll be back with the final results to let you know which one did better in this test. All right, and the final scores are in, and they would indicate that the Samsung is faster in both single and multi-core CPU performance. And that's kind of what we've seen in the regular testing. But in terms of the RAM management, we did see better performance on the OnePlus. Let's go ahead and take a look at my 3D Mark. We'll take a look at some past results and see what the Samsung basically scores. It scores around a 3350, 3360, and the OnePlus typically scoring a little bit higher here in the Wildlife Extreme test, with average frame rates hovering around 21.90. Now over there around 20. In this test, it did 20.110, and in this one 18.7, and then this test right here 21.60. So the OnePlus getting a little bit better scoring on my wildlife testing. So definitely maybe slightly better in gaming for the OnePlus, but the speed and just general day-to-day performance feels a little quicker on a Samsung with a little bit smoother polish on the OnePlus. That's basically how I could call it here. So which one would you pick? Would it be the Galaxy S23 Plus, or would it be the OnePlus 11, or would it be neither? Is it a different phone? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section of this video. If you found it helpful, entertaining, informing, click the like button for me. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.